Hey everybody, it's Paul from Screenwriting Scribe, and today we're going to take a look at Prewrite. The makers of Prewrite asked me to just take a look at their app here and to see how it looks. Now, just as a disclaimer, I didn't make any money from this app. I don't get paid for this particular video. This is just my opinion, so I may like it, I may not. We're going to just dive into it, and you'll hear my honest thoughts, because like I said, I'm not getting any compensation for doing this particular review, just so you know what's going on. So as we take a look at their homepage, we can begin to look and see what the story app is about. Now, the interesting thing about this app is it's more of a story app, helping you write your story versus just like a screenwriting app or a app that's used just for books. And so the interesting thing about this is it hits a wide group of people. So for writers, it does have for novelists, screenwriters, journalists, bloggers, even for YouTube folks, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, podcast, companies as well too, brand stories, and we'll take a look at these a little later on when we look at the different things that they offer, and even educators as well. And so we'll dive into a little bit more here in just a moment, but just to show you sort of the rest of the front page here, you can sort of see like what the finished product is going to look like, and we'll actually dive in today and create a part of a script today so you can sort of see how that looks. Learn from the masters, browse, copy, and edit any story in our ever-expanding library, and we'll take a look at their library here in just a moment. And here's just some testimonials as well too. So templates, they have a lot of different templates. They have the majority of them are for film, TV, and streaming. They have some pretty standard ones. Half an hour sitcom, 3-act structure, The Hero's Journey, Joseph Campbell, Free Take Pyramid, 1-hour drama, and some of our modern methods as well too, such as Save the Cat by Blake Snyder, and some other things as well too. Dan Harmon's Story Circle. I always want to call it Story Wheel, but I know that's not right. Also, like we talked about before, sort of talk about business stories, because a lot of times in business nowadays, I think everything we need to realize is story related. And so businesses can talk about what their value story is for their product, what their founder story, or what their purpose story is. And I think it's also interesting, just sort of the way that they frame this graphically. So I think that's an interesting thing that they do. And then also for the other folks, podcasts, YouTube, 8-episode Rizzy series, as well as short story, which I know you can convert into a novel as well too. The other thing too is if you didn't find the perfect template, these are just templates, okay? These are just sort of the beginning, what you can look at and take it from there. You can always suggest one. I know a lot of, especially as these new companies come up, the people that are behind them are really good at taking feedback and putting your feedback into their product, and as well as there's also a huge library, which we'll take a look at right now too, about a lot of different things that they have. So they have some of the screenplays that they have here: The Matrix, which I'm not surprised with; Office Space, which includes analysis; Nope, which is actually a fairly new movie. Of course, they have to have Star Wars, because that's one of the best ones for the hero's journey. Zola, The Avengers, that's a nice one to have. Battle of the Bastards, so again, something more contemporary. So they have a nice blend of new and older things that you can look at. You can now look at movie and TV stuff that is plot driven, stuff that is character driven, and here's some of these business stories, like Creating Canva, the founder's story, Sean and Juan extra gum campaign, tile advertisement value story. So you can see there's a lot of different examples to say, okay, yeah, I want to try some of these things. And for short stories, they have The Telltale Heart, one of my favorite from Edgar Allan Poe. They also have Creator Works, a revisionist history podcast. They also have a YouTube original and also an 8-episode of the Rizzy series. So you can take a look at these different things and go, okay, I want to do something similar to this. What would that look like? And you can pull up the template and take a look at that. And let's just do that real quick and just see what it does for us here. So then what it does when you pull up one of these things here, you can make a copy of it. You can look at the timeline, and you can see how it sort of pushes everything out for us to look at. You can see the characters. So it has a nice little thing up here where it has images, the body of sort of what's going on, the summary, if there's any summaries that take place, any notes. The term, I like this, the term of the MacGuffin of the movie is introduced immediately. This time spent focusing on Tesseract importance helps the object feel like less of a plot device used to get the Avengers to assemble. That's exactly what it is, but at least we understand its importance. So I think it's funny that they put that in there. And then tells you what the characters are in for that particular part of Act 1. The tone, if there's any tones. Plot threads, so you can look at the different plot threads that they have and see how they begin and where they unfold. So there's a lot of nice sort of things down here. And in the bottom here, it sort of talks about sort of like how long each of these different scenes are, where you're sort of landing in the movie and stuff like that. You can also look at the cards, and you can see each of these different cards here. It's a little bit more detail. Again, you have a picture, the opening image. If we click on more, you've got the notes again, the actors, you know, sort of what the tone is. Again, whatever plot threads you have. You can look at the page. So I had a little problem with moving on the page, moving around on the different pages. I think it might be because of the browser I'm using. I'm using Safari, and I tried arrowing down, and that works pretty decent. I know it does seem to have a little bit of a hiccup in terms of moving. I notice it does sort of take a moment, and sometimes I'll over move on the page by going down. So again, this sort of gives us a summary of what's going on. Now the cool thing, if you go up to here, click on that, and then click text editor, you have the script. And so you can read the script of what's going on. And again, you have these little nice things. You have, again, the opening image, you have the setup, little notes that we can look and read through here and see what's going on in terms of the script as well too. So that's pretty cool to see. And so we have the script and stuff like that, but it's not the full script. It doesn't have like people saying stuff and doing things like that. It's just sort of a script view of what is going on in the particular text. So just so you're aware of that. So it's the script, but not the full script. So again, this is sort of just another way to display it. I think if we go up here to characters, you can see each of the different characters, a little bit about them, how old they are, and that type of stuff. And you can scroll through, and they have the actors that are going to be playing them. Not everybody though. They have some of the different. They don't have everybody listed, so you can see that you can just have placeholders. So again, if we take a look here, sort of at this section is labeled as story stats, and so you can look at, and all I'm doing is just hovering over it to look at how many times, so this is a great way if you're sort of thinking about, okay, well, how is everything broken up? How are we going to shoot scenes? Are there scenes that are in the same place? How many of them are during the day? How many of them are during the night? You have the word count from each of these as well too. Characters per scene. There's a lot of different things here that you can see. Select one or more to highlight their scene. So if we look at Tony Stark, you can actually see how many word counts that deal with Tony Stark as Iron Man, where he appears. That's a really nice feature that they have. And then we can just work our way down to all the different things that are here. And let's take a look at like Leviathan and see where they point up at. And there you go. There's the different scenes where they're the word count for that. I wonder if we click. Yep, we just clicked on this particular thing here, and it shows us where the Leviathan pulls up here. And you can take a look at, there's plot threads, 6 are open, 4 closed, 20 character intros, 20 of 21, so we're 95% emotional weight. We're in the ups. And like I said, you can see sort of what the scene is. Bruce Banner's secret to controlling the Hulk is revealed. So you can see a lot of different things about that particular scene where that particular character shows up and stuff like that. So really interesting. So if we hit the home key, let's see what it gets us back to. And we're back to this particular menu right here. And again, this is sort of just a breakdown of what everything looks like. So this gets us back to the main menu. It's nice that there's so many different examples to look at and sort of give you an idea of how to create the story, how to do that. So again, this is to help folks get to lay out their story. I do know they have an editor in here in which you can help create your story. I don't know how good the editor is at. We'll find that out here once we get logged in. So learning, they have a section on how to use this guide, why Prewrite, and who uses Prewrite. And basically, who uses Prewrite, everybody should use it. You know, that most companies do that. So let's take a look at one of the most important pieces, pricing. So as we look at this, what we get for free is a 1-story limit. We have advanced story creation and pitching tools. What we don't get is unlimited stories, open story format importing. If we go with the Pro, we get advanced collaboration and pro support. And if you have a team, you get discount pricing and advanced user management and sharing. As I look at the price, that is a pretty steep price. It's $15 a month. So if you look at this, it's about $180 a year. And granted, if you do the year membership, it'll be a little less. But this costs you just about as much as Final Draft does. And this is a price that you'll be paying per year, where if you buy Final Draft, it's only a one-time cost for getting that particular type of program. And I know there's other issues with getting Final Draft and stuff like that. It seems a little steep for me in terms of the premium one. I would like it if it's a little cheaper, maybe $9 or $10. That to me would be more easily stomached. But like I said, we'll have to see all that we get with the free part. The good thing about this too is we can always check the tires, as we say, and give it a roll and see if this is something good. If this is something that gets us to write, though, it's definitely worth the $14.99 a month. If it gets us writing and gets our stories out there, the important part of any type of software is if it actually helps with you getting your work done, then that's great. That's something wonderful to use because it helps you get your creativity going. But if you're just looking at it in terms of, well, it may or may not help me write, give the free version a try and see if it's worth your $14. That's probably my biggest hang up with it right now until we actually use it. The pricing does seem a little much for me, especially because it's more just a pre-writing thing. Because like I said, I have pre-writing work in Final Draft that I can use, and that's part of the program. This one here is just pre-work. It helps me sort of pitch my work, but at the end of the day, is it actually going to help me with my work, and is it worth $15? But that's up to you guys to decide how it works for you. So let's take a look at what you get with the free version. Let's start with the visual story building. So Prewrite reveals how narrative elements interweave and connect. We have the story structure. Enjoy a number of when we looked at these templates that you can try. Screenplay importing. Upload Final Draft and PDF files to analyze and improve on existing work. This is all in the free version, so this is all great stuff. Story stats, find hidden patterns in your narrative structure that track directly to audience enjoyment. Advanced visuals, search commercial-free Unisplash images and accurate headshots or add your own. So that's pretty nice. We'll try to do that as well too. Automatic pitch deck, view your story as a slideshow with one click. That seems pretty cool. Presentation setting, fine-tune how the outside world views your work, hide unfinished scenes and sections. And export options, download your project as Final Draft or Word or an open story format. So for free, there's a lot of great tools here. So I would encourage you again to give it a try. And let's take a look a little bit more closely at what the paid version does for us. So basically, as we look through here, you can create, copy, and import as many stories as you like. So if we look at just the premium version, let's see if I can do premium. You can save and re-import open story format files for sharing and archiving. And then if you want to do collaboration, you can grant and edit or view access to other users for individual stories. So as I look at this, if you don't have more than one story, I definitely give this the free version a check out. But if you're going to be doing multiple stories, like you might want to take a look at the premium version. I think that's basically the only thing that really sets it apart. And like I said, I wish it was a little cheaper. Like I said, I wish it was like $5 to maybe $9 a month for premium, and maybe bring the pro and team versions down a little bit more too, just based on the features that they're giving you, based on what I've looked at in other terms of software and stuff like that. So let's take a look at their blog really quick. And so the interesting thing about their blog, they haven't really blogged a lot since about 2022. And so as we look at that, they do have stuff they do tweets, they do have Facebook, they have a Reddit, as well as LinkedIn as well too. So they do still have some stuff on their blog page, and you're gonna have to look and see how to see what's helpful and what's not helpful. But they have the nice thing too is they have it on a bunch of different types of writing. Again, it's not just on screenwriting, but too, if you're looking for YouTube or podcasting or for business or something like that, this might be something you might want to check out. All right, so I've just logged into my account here. Now the interesting thing is you can view your profile. You can also hide your profile as well too, so that no one can see it, or hide it, or now it's visible. So the other thing you can do is edit your profile. So So in here you can change your profile settings. You can put a background picture if you like. You can make your profile visible or not visible. You can write some general information about yourself. And so you can see I've got a little different picture than my typical one that I have on my YouTube channel. You have about me, and you can also you can add a bunch of different things about yourself: awards, recognition, bio, favorite genres, looking for. You can also look at my work, and you can add a story to your profile, which will make it accessible to other people and stuff like that. So that's just looking at your profile. We can also, again, we'll take a look at our stories. So let's begin a new story and see how easy it is to use. So I'm just going to click Add Your First Story. So the first thing it's going to do is ask me to choose a template. And so as I'm a screenwriter, so I'm going to probably sit and try to do a 3-act. Let's do the 3-act structure. What is the title of your story? So actually that I'm thinking about it, let's do, because I've been working on a series, a new space series. So let's actually cancel that. I'm going to go with a 1-hour-long drama instead. So, and we've been working on this space opera, so I'm just going to call it a space opera. And so let's start writing. So as I look here, it says editing basics, so edit basic story details. So it gives us a tour, so let's take a look at the tour and see how we can do stuff. So when we take a look at edit story details, we simply click the title to open the edit window. This is the edit window. You'll use it to edit story information, scenes, and characters. Let's walk through some of the features. Okay, so capture tone and setting it with beautiful images. So we can click an image here and add an image here. So let's add an image. So for this first scene, let's do a starship bridge. Let's see if I can spell right. There might even be better. All right, so this is what they get for. These are all commercial free. Let's take a look at Starship because so one of the things here is you can add one of your own stuff. Choose an image that catches your ID. They're all commercial free. Okay, so let's see if I can X out of that. Well, we'll just pick one. All right, we'll just do that. There we go. Log line, write 1 or 2 sentence summary of your plot. Looking for new life. We'll make it real easy. I don't know all the details yet. Like I said, we're just running around with this. Add a genre. And so you can do, they have a lot of different genres. This is more of a science fiction type of thing. Let's see. So action, drama, romance, animated, historical drama, adventure, documentary. They should have fantasy. Okay, there we go. I was going to say they should have something with science fiction. Sci-fi. There we go. Perfect. Continue. And the theme. Exploring. I'm trying to think. I was thinking exploring contemporary topics. In a sci-fi setting. Sort of like Star Trek. Perfect. Okay. Perfect. You have learned how to use and add basic details to your story. So we can finish the tour. So let's see how to add characters. There's a number of ways to add characters. Let's start in the home view. So click the add. This is pretty easy. Just click and add new character. This is the edit window where you can enter details. Let's fill out a couple of basic items so we can continue. So the name, let's Captain, we'll call him Captain Sparrow for right now, just because the name just pops in my head. Bring characters to life, click thumbnail to begin, so we can add a character shot. Or like I said, we can browse files that we have as well too, but let's do, I'm curious if they have Harrison Ford. Yeah, perfect. That's pretty funny. Let's see. Choose an archetype, and you can say he's a bully. We're going to say he's an Avenger. He avenges people. He is really trying to be a good captain, follow the rules he likes. Meaning not all of them. And I know, like I said, I'm just doing stuff fast here. I'm just making stuff up as we go along. You can also add new characters from inside the editor window. So again, we can click here and you can either add a character after or delete the character. Perfect. You can also head over to here to do the character view, and there we go. This is the character view. You can click on one of the characters or edit them or add a new one. So you can add a new character. That's right up here in the corner there. So perfect. So finish tour for that. Okay, edit story details, learn how to add images and other high-level story information. So we'll, oh, actually, let's go back up. We're going to need to add how to add scenes. So let's go back to this. So simply go to the timeline view, click and drag from this button and add a new scene from the timeline. So we just click, let's see here, click and drag from this button to add a new scene. So this is interesting. I've been trying to do the tour here and it's not letting me click and drag. It's telling me to click something, click and drag from this button and add a new scene here. So I've been trying to do this and unfortunately I can't get it to work. So what I ended up doing was getting out of the tour for right now. And so I just clicked on this and that gave me the new scene to do. And I'm assuming that we can add, we can show and highlight items here. We can show the story beat, images, body, summary, notes, themes, etc. And this particular scene could be, we'll say new planet, and that looks cool. All right, so we can add a bunch of different images in here, and then we can add whatever body, what we want to write in here about the scene heading, and it looks like we should be able to summary of what the scene is about. So is this, so we'll say like exterior, so that's good. It's got a good shortcut for that. Exterior, planet Kelvin. There we go. Summary we can talk about. So we can talk about introducing a new problem for the crew to solve. In notes, we can look at the theme. Is it challenge, stated, symbolized? We can begin to explore a theme, and we can add a character. So I think we can add. Can we add our captain? I don't know if we can add our captain. So basically, what's the tone is? Are we going to make it a little negative? We're going to make it a little positive. You know, what sort of the tonal things? Is there any new plot thread that we're going to add? Enter a plot thread name. New challenge. Now it's interesting here that I wasn't really able to easily add my character. So let's take a look and see. None added. But it doesn't really give me an option to add characters. Let's see. I can add a scene before or after, as we've done in the past. This lets us undo stuff. Again, we can hide stuff. When we can enter full screen. So if we want a better view of this, we can enter the full screen as well too. So this comes up here. So characters. Again, it's not letting me add any characters because I do have characters, right? I do have a character. There we go. And he's talking. So yeah, I got the character. So I'm sort of confused as to why I can't add to the timeline. Why I can't add my character to that. Okay. I ended up just selecting this, and now let's see if I can add. So I actually had to integrate this part here and click on my captain there. And see. But the bad thing with scenes is it's not letting me add a character to that. Well, let's try add a new plot thread. So it goes back to the timeline. So click any scene in the timeline. I'm going to click this one here. Enter a plot thread. So this was that new challenge type I've talked about. So New challenge to captain's authority. Perfect. And it's nice. It's already the nice thing about that. Perfect. So click the thread button to expand it. Add a story event for this scene. A story event is one of the series of related occurrences. The first officer, the captain, for being drunk on the bridge. I'm just making stuff up. This is not what my story is going to be, but I'm just trying to get us some stuff. See if I can spell bridge right. There we go. Holy cow. Perfect. Okay. So we continue with that. Open the plot thread menu. So I can select a color. Let's make it purple. And we can continue. And so then you can jump to a different scene. Let's go to scene 4. And then click the plot thread you've just created. Okay, and it says enter a new story event. So this is a way that you can sort of plot your story out. Okay, so in this next particular scene, the ship counselor talks about the captain's drinking problems, and we can continue. And then you've successfully added a new plot thread as well as 2 related story events. And so that's pretty easy to do. I mean, it's really easy to do that and stuff like that. And here is where we can actually write. So here we can actually work on the screenplay itself. And we can take a look at the different parts of the menu here. So this is for scene 1, which is on Planet Kelvin. It's pretty neat. It pulls up the picture right there. So we can take a look here. It says text editor. You can do that particular view or the scene overview, which is that right there. Let's see if we can add the character from here. Click to add scene. Nope. But you can come back here, click on the text editor. You can use modern or traditional. I think traditional is probably the better set. I think that's the right type of format. It'd be interesting to know. I probably should ask the guy who created this again. But I'm assuming that's Courier font, but I'm not entirely positive. So we got scene headings. So this is basically just like a screenwriting thing. I'm interested to see what it has. Choose the text formats you want available when editing your main content. Only the screenplay types will export to FDX. So you can use this actually to write a short novel with and stuff like that. So this is why you can transfer it to a Word document. You can add a bunch of things like title cards, camera directions, sponsored messages, call to action. So this is the sort of stuff you can add if you're doing a YouTube video. This is stuff exclusively for screenplays. This is stuff for headings and paragraphs as well too. All right, so as we look at this particular way of doing things, you're going to notice a couple things. It's basically a very basic screenwriting editor. I noticed there's nothing for dual dialogue. I mean, there's dialogue, but nothing for dual dialogue. But do you need a lot more? I mean, it's a basic screenwriting editor. You can probably get mostly everything done that you need done. We can take a look at this. I don't know what this is. See if it'll allow me. Don't know what that is, but this is just different ways you can format it. I'm assuming these are bullet points. Undo, redo, and print. Off to the side here, you can edit in a window. You can add a scene above or below it. So it's got a lot of nice functionality to it and stuff like that as well too. So overall, how do I look at Prewrite right now? Well, I think there's a number of things that are good about Prewrite, and there's a number of things that I'm not a real big fan of. I think the price is number one thing I'm not a big fan of. I also didn't like some of the not functionalities. It was really hard to add a new scene, and also I cannot add a character to that new scene. I probably will figure that out sometime along the line, but at least for my initial efforts, it didn't work as well. So would I recommend this? I mean, there's a lot of nice features, especially if you just use the free version of the software, in that you can create a nice sort of outline for you. It's a really pretty outline, and it does have a lot of nice tools for it. And so I sort of like it from that perspective. I think I'm going to have to make a video and sort of break down my thoughts in terms of what I normally rank a software. But I definitely would have you, if you're interested at all in this, give this a look-see in terms of the free. Give it a look-see if this really helps your work productivity. Give it a look-see. But again, if this doesn't look like the thing for you, this is definitely, I would not pick this up just for the screenwriting part of this particular program. Definitely, this is if you're looking for a nice pre-write tool. Give it a look-see. See if this works with your method. See if it's helpful. Well, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. And until the next video, live well and write well.